Hey everyone, and welcome back to VFXY once again. So in today's video we are going to see a best way of doing depth of field inside Nuke. Yes, today's video will be a very informative video and hopefully you'll like it. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, as you can see over here, I have a scene setup which is pretty basic. I haven't done anything yet. I am still working on it. But just to show you the way of doing defocusing, earlier we used to use G Defocus node inside Unreal Engine, and if you can see, it's doing pretty good job. But when you are going to see on edges, we are having artifacts, right? Although we can fix it, so it's not a way like our real camera used to do depth of field or defocusing, right? So in Nuke 15, the newer version of Nuke, in Nuke 15 or 14.1 if I'm not wrong, we have another node called Bokeh. Basically they have added a Bokeh node inside newer version of Nuke, and here we have multiple inputs, right? So we can input will be our image, and if I'm going to do this, we can use depth Z channel to defocus our things. But in today's video I'm not going to discuss G defocus because already we know that thing. So what's new in it, right? So we can use deep input to defocus our data inside Nuke. Yes, this node can support deep data to do our desired work, right? So here I have a deep data, deep read node, and if I'm going to show it to you, we will have our deep data, right? And if I'm going to do this, you can easily see I have pretty good amount of deep information, right? So we are going to use this data to defocus our scene, right? So without any delay, I'm going to connect my deep input to my deep, right? And here I have to change few settings. Before starting, I would like to tell you that deep node is pretty heavy on system. It required a very good system to handle deep information, right? So in Bokeh node, we have multiple options, right? So we have Bokeh tab, we have lens tab, we have optical artifacts, kernel, corrective slices, and node, right? So let's concentrate on Bokeh first. So here we have output type defocused image, and although we have connected our deep input, it might possible deep channel is not going to use depth.z. For safer side, you can switch it off. It's all up to you, right? So in output type, first thing first, I'm going to change to focal distance visualization. Focal distance visualization is basically where you want to focus. So we should know where my character in depth, right? So to know that, I'm going over here and I'm going to switch my deep, and if I'm going to lower down my gamma and hold down control and click where I want to focus, you can see a number like 311, and if I'm going away 6110, so probably around 300 a unit I want my focus to be, right? So again I'm going to reset it, and in Bokeh node I'm going to put that number which is basically focal plane. So focal plane should be around 300 unit. It's pretty simple, you can add it, but I'm not getting any kind of defocusing, right? Because I haven't changed anything. So let's discuss over here. So I'm going focal distance visualization, and you can easily see I'm getting a pretty thin red line, right? So how we can control it, right? So if I'm going to defocused image and I'm going to increase multiplier by like 15, so you can easily see I'm getting defocus on front as well, my character is defocused as well, my background is defocused as well, but this point is in little bit of in focus, right? Can you see that? Because I have chosen that point. So I need to spread my focal plane area, right? So how I can do that? It's pretty simple. I'm going over here, focus region size, and I'm going to change it to probably 150 or 100. It might possible. So you can easily see now I am getting my character in focus, right? But my background is defocused, right? So what exactly multiplier is doing? Multiplier will defocus your foreground and background at the same time. So if we want to control that thing, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put multiplier 0, or by default it's 1. keep it 1. Here we have 2 more multipliers like back multiplier and front multiplier. So I'm going to put back multiplier to 25 just to show you how it's working. So my foreground is intact, but my background is defocused. Can you see that, right? So my background is defocused and my character is in focus, and I'm not getting any kind of artifacts on edges. Let me show it to you over here. So if I'm going to switch to G defocus, you can easily see I'm getting artifacts, but if I'm going to switch to bokeh, I'm not getting any kind of artifacts. Can you see that? And my focus is intact, right? So what happen if you want to defocus your foreground as well, right? So if I'm going to use front multiplier by 15, you can easily see my front multiplier, it's working pretty fine. And or if I'm going to reduce focus region size like 100, you can easily see my frontal elements are getting defocused as well, right? So by using these 2 multipliers, you can control your background defocus and foreground defocus as well. Isn't it great, right? Okay, so apart from that, we have multiple controls as well. Apart from that, we have another tab called lens, which I'm not going to talk today, because if you're using any CG camera or tracked camera, you can put that information and automatically your lens will work like that, right? So we can discuss this later. Most important, I'm going to use optical artifacts, right? So to show optical artifacts, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my focal plane to probably like 100 so that I can show it to you. So if I'm going to put 100, you can see my character is defocused as well, and I'm getting good amount of bokeh over here. But what happened, I'm going to play with bloom, right? So I'm going to put 5, right? So you can easily see my highlights are getting bloomed as well. So basically bloom will control how your highlights are reacting with a scene, right? So if I'm going to put bloom 0, you can easily see your highlights are darker, and probably I'll put 1 or 2. It might possible it will work fine to me, probably 2. Now if I want to change curvature, I can do that, right? So right now you can see if I'm going to change my curvature, you cannot see much difference, but probably I'll put 5, and you can easily see my bokeh are getting little transparent, and also that kind of control we have, right? So apart from that, bloom threshold. So if I'm going to put my bloom threshold to 0, you can easily see multiple highlights are reacting together. But if I'm going to increase it, my certain, like it's working like a filter, because what basically bloom threshold is doing, 0.7 value, so below 0.7 unit value, nothing will impacted by this bloom tab, right? So this is something you can use it as a filter. Spherical aberration is something you need to understand. Suppose that I'm going to use 10 spherical aberration. So you can see my bokeh are darker from center and brighter from edges, right? But if I'm going to decrease it in negative, what will happen, my center will be brighter and edges will be darker. So basically these are the aberration. If you want to know what is chromatic aberration, I have already made 2 detailed videos. I'll put link in the description. You can go and you can check, right? So again, chromatic aberration is pretty good. Like if I'm going to add chromatic aberration to 1, so you can easily see I'm getting my chromatic aberration. And if I want spread, like I can control this as well. Can you see that? So by using these things, you can control and you can create your own chromatic aberration. It's all up to you, right? So you can play with your color and all. You can, like I can put 2, probably I can put blue to 0, and I'm having another kind of effect, right? So it's all up to you how you are going to use it. By you can create your own chromatic aberrations as well, right? Apart from that, if you want to control your bokeh shape, you have to go to kernel. We'll have kernel type to circular, so you are seeing your bokeh as a circular. But we have another 2 options like input. If you have any image of your bokeh shape, you can use it as an input and you can connect to my kernel input, right? But for this tutorial, I'm going to use aperture blades. So when I'm going to choose aperture blades, you can easily see I'm having a shape and I can change it to like 7, like 10. Can you see that? And I'm having my edges as well. So keep it 6. Aspect ratio is basically if you want your bokeh shape to be like anamorphic, you can do it like I can put 2 and you'll have your anamorphic bokeh, something like that, right? So I'm going to put it 1. You can play with aspect ratio. Now softness is something, if I'm going to use softness 0, you cannot see much difference, but if I'm going to put it 1, you can easily see my bokeh are much softer, right? So you can change softness as well. Blade count, whatever blade count you want, you can put it over here. Curvature is something like how your blade edges will behave. Can you see that? It's more circular now. It's more sharp now. So you can choose your curvature wisely. Rotation, you can rotate your shape. Can you see that? This shape. And I can rotate this shape as well, right? If you want, I can create detailed video on lens tab and corrective slices tab. So I think that's it for today's video, and I hope by using these techniques you can utilize your deep data inside Nuke to do your defocus work in a better way. And if you think that this video is helping you, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. With this said, this is VFX Vibe signing off. Have a good day.